Call of Cthulhu, Edge of Madness is a Call of Cthulhu 7th edition actual play podcast presented by DM Fiat with me, Dale, as the keeper of arcane lore. Please be advised, Call of Cthulhu is a dark game of cosmic horror. You'll hear descriptions of gore, depravity, helplessness, coercion, and other serious themes. This is not D&D. This is a game where we stare into the abyss and confront things that stare back.
Welcome back, everyone. It's episode 5 of Call of Cthulhu, The Edge of Madness, and we certainly are on the edge of madness after last session. Tonight is part 2 of The Legacy of Mr. Corbitt. It's a direct continuation to last session when Eugene Earle, the head of the Miskatonic Paranormal Club, invited you all to relax over dinner at his newly rented townhouse in the sleepy suburb of Lexington, just outside Boston's bustling inner centre. It soon became apparent that this was not a social call. While you did get to enjoy dinner, you quickly learned that Eugene Earle was hard at work. He'd been tracking the lineage of Walter Corbitt after your experiences in the Corbitt house and had located a descendant, a man by the name of Mr. Corbitt, of course. But let me consult my notes here. A man by the name of Bernard Corbitt. Apparently the grandson of the Mr. Corbitt that you faced in the basement of that house. He lives across the road from Eugene Earle's temporary residence and is a pillar of the community, and you immediately got off on the wrong foot by being tasked with investigating him. Investigating whether he is indeed caught up in the Chapel of Contemplation and the other bizarre happenings that were courted by his grandfather, and if so, to stop them. You began your investigations in earnest the next day, waiting for Bernard Corbitt to set off for work. Well, you broke into groups and tackled different leads. Trixie and Angel spent the day at the library learning about Bernard Corbitt, about the death of his father in South America, how he inherited his father's import-export business, and how his wife had supposedly died during the failed childbirth of their son. Buck decided to look into an orderly at the local hospital by the name of Tomaszewski, an orderly who, it soon became apparent, had been trafficking medical waste, amputated body parts, discarded obstructions removed during surgery, and had been selling them to Mr. Corbitt in exchange for arcane knowledge. Buck confronted the man and found him embraced in layers and layers of impenetrable madness. The encounter quickly went south and resulted in Buck being quite grievously wounded after being shot with a shotgun, and unfortunately with the death of Mr. Tomaszewski. Buck was able to confirm, however, that Tomaszewski and Corbitt were certainly working together to achieve some terrible end, gathering body parts as gifts for one simply called the One Beyond, the Gate and the Key. Finally, Chambers decided to investigate Corbitt's house while he was out. He figured it'd be a simple task. Take a look, get some dirt on the man, maybe call up the Bureau for reinforcements. Eugene Earle insisted upon coming along. It had been a while since he'd been out on the field investigating these happenings for himself, and he was excited to go on an adventure. And what an adventure it turned out to be. A strange greenhouse filled with alien plants, one of which nearly killed Chambers, resulting in him losing his right arm. Corbitt's vegetable garden, the source of his gigantic, juicy tomatoes, was filled with pieces of anatomy, headless corpses with legs where arms should be, discarded feet, hands, a human trunk with feet growing from its ribs. And that's the last we saw of Chambers, as, in his vulnerable state, he saw the limbs scrambling to climb out of the earth towards him, and let out a deathly scream. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and you are all returning to Eugene's rented property in the quaint street in Lexington where Mr. Corbitt's evil lurks in the shadows. Trixie and Angel and Buck, you pull up right at the same time, your cars driving parallel down the street and coming to a halt in front of Eugene's house. Angel and Trixie are the first to climb out of their vehicle. They look at each other. They're both a little shaken. They've heard some unsettling stories, but for the most part, their investigation has been quite fruitful. Then they see Buck. He half falls, half climbs out of the driver's seat of Chambers' patrol car, dragging a trail of blood across the door as he clutches the side of his torso, specks of blood staining his sheriff's uniform.
Darling, I think it might be worth us running. And Angel just runs over and sees what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Angel...
Yeah, Buck's gonna trip.
Yep.
Nothing a stiff drink can't fix.
Angel, as Buck stumbles and nearly falls into your arms, you hold him up steady. Hold him steady, and then help him kneel down, leaning against Chambers' car. He winces and you examine the wound. It looks like he's been shot. There are pieces of buckshot and shrapnel embedded in his skin, but the wound is not terribly deep. It looks like he was only grazed, but it's obviously giving him a great deal of pain.
Heck, darling. Did you get shot up in here? Fucking hell. Alright, what are we gonna do in this? Trixie, darling, do you know any medicine?
Yeah, let me see what I can think of. By the gods, you were lucky.
Trixie, I'd like you to go ahead and roll a luck check for me.
Check. That is a 40.
40. Is that a pass?
No, fail. I forgot to check that.
Alright, that's fine.
I'm sorry, that's all I can do to help you, honey. But
well, you'll be able to
you
do
stop the
more,
bleeding.
but we're just seeing if you're going to have any extra help. So, Buck grunts. Ugh. He points towards the boot of Chambers' car, and he winces at the first aid kit you were using during the investigation of the Corbitt house a couple weeks ago should still be in there. There might be some supplies left. And so, Trixie, you pop open the boot, and you see the first aid bag in there, just as he said it would be, but your heart sinks as you open it. There's a roll of bandages, but all of the alcohol and all of the field dressing has been used up. So you're going to be doing this on your own. Please go ahead, make a first aid check with no boost.
Oh, I wish that Buck could be rolling this. He's the only one with real first aid.
Oh, that is... Oh, how much life have I got? I'll spend some luck on that.
Go ahead, bringing it down to...
Down.
Thank you.
So, Trixie starts to bandage the wound, using tweezers to pull out the bits of shrapnel she can reach. And you give her some directions. It's not as good as what you'd be able to do yourself, but you can barely reach the wound in your position, and the pain is becoming too terrible to think straight. Trixie does a decent enough job. She stems the bleeding, cleans the wound, and you're able to stand without feeling like you're suddenly going to lose your balance and topple over. You regain 1 HP, Buck, and your major wound is healed.
Oh, that'll do.
The best I can do until we help Chambers out. It sounds like he's in real trouble at the moment.
It's fine. I'm fine.
As if to punctuate this, before you have the chance to even discuss how Buck's turned up with a bullet wound and how his meeting with Tomaszewski went, you hear a loud gunshot. Bang! It pierces the quaint silence of the street, and it's coming directly from Dr. Eugene's house.
Uh-oh. Ladies, can you give me a hand? We gotta check that out. Urgent.
So, Buck, I assume you're drawing your weapon?
He'll be attempting to.
Yep. So you unholster your gun, hold it in your hand, and lead the others up the path through Eugene's front garden up onto the patio. You reach out to knock on the door and find the front door already slightly ajar. Carefully, you push it open. It creaks as it slowly admits you entrance to the house, and then, as you step into the entrance hall, you hear a voice coming from the lounge room to the right. Gotta get the case notes. The case notes. Case notes so the bureau knows. Can't leave anything out. Chambers. You find yourself sitting on the leather upholstered armchair in Eugene Earl's living room. You have no idea how you got here. The last thing you can remember is gazing upon that horrific scene in the vegetable garden. And here you are, suddenly, with No memory in between then and now. Holding a pen in your left hand and scribbling on the casebook that's propped open on your lap. You look down. You've been drawing a circle over and over and over and over into the lined paper, doing it for so long that the pen marks are embedded into the next page, and the page after that, and the page after that.
Well, that's probably fine.
Yeah. You reach. You shake your head, feeling your senses return to you, and with your left arm, you reach up, pat the stump where your right hand used to be. It's no longer bleeding. The wound has been sealed, and someone's taken the time to bandage it. You gain 1 HP and no longer have a major wound.
Oh, I'm guessing that wasn't a dream then.
What happened? Did he get home early?
You hear Trixie's voice, and you turn around and you see her standing there in the doorway of the lounge room. Buck is standing in front of her, his gun raised. There are bandages all over the right side of his torso, and behind him is Angel, her eyes narrow, sharp, calculating, taking stock of the situation.
Buck kind of calls out into the house, Eugene? You home?
Receive no response.
Oh, that is very bad news. At this point, he
darling.
notices that,
Are you alright?
Chambers sort of goes to wave to everyone with his right arm before realizing that he can't. So he uses his left instead, sort of begrudgingly.
As Chambers
Sit
waves...
down, darling, let's talk.
As Chambers waves,
Do we
stands
have
up.
to?
Angel, you're the first to notice. There's just a lump where his right arm used to be. And then, Trixie and Buck, you see it as well. Something terrible has happened to Chambers while you were conducting your own investigations.
Buck's gonna rush over to him as fast as he can hobble and kind of take a knee next to him. Good lord, what happened to you?
Stubbed my toe. How are you guys doing?
Well, better than
Yeah.
you, by the look of it.
Yeah.
Stubbed mine too, but not as bad as yours.
Comparable to you, darling. Quite delightful, but please do just sit down. And I go
Yeah,
and I
man.
have a look at the wound, and I'm trying to figure out how I can help him.
Yep, so I'd like you, Angel, to go ahead and make either a medicine or a first aid check if you like.
Oh god, what is my medicine? What is my first aid? Medicine.
Failing that, you can make an occult
neither
check
of
if
those.
you like.
I will do first aid.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's a fail.
That's a fail. Would you like to make an occult check instead?
You get other d10s because I just dropped one.
These
Please
ones
do
aren't
not
good.
push it.
Yeah, for not what
I
he's...
can't afford anything right now.
This could be worse. Let's not make it so.
An occult check.
Let's find out how much.
That's a success.
Success. So, Angel, there's nothing much you can do for him, at least not in the physical realm. But you know of a spell that should restore, or at least calm his spirits, so you help him over to the chair opposite the room, the one that isn't drenched in blood. You help lower him down into a seating position, and then you clasp your hand around the stump of his arm, wrap another hand around a piece of jewelry around your neck, and begin to recite the words, calling upon God to act through you, her vessel, Angel Christ. I would like Chambers to go ahead and make a power check for me.
Good. Sure. Just realized I didn't have the thing up. Give me 1 second. There's the side I always use. That's a pass.
That's a pass. As Angel recites these words, you begin to feel a strange sense of calm. The anguish in your head, those forgotten fragments of memory between then and now, stop clawing at the outer reaches of your mind, and you calm down ever so slightly, regaining 1 point of sanity.
Oh, who needs morphine, eh?
As Angel conducts...
Morphine's just bullshit, my friend.
Yeah,
I don't know what's gotten me along meantime.
God doesn't want you to put that poison in your body. As Angel conducts this ceremony, I'll ask Buck and Trixie to please make spot hidden checks for me.
Oh, absolutely. I should grab some dice.
I'll push it.
Yep, go ahead.
It's a pass.
It's a pass.
Spot hidden. That is a 6. That is a,
Yeah,
I
very
think, a
good.
critical success.
So,
Crit?
Buck, you notice Chambers' case notebook, the little black-bound notebook. It's just lying on the floor, pen next to it in front of the blood-stained leather armchair. And Trixie, you notice something perhaps even more disconcerting as Angel helps Chambers down onto the couch, prompts him to lie down, and begins to perform her ceremony over his wound. You see his weapon holster just underneath his vest. The gun is missing.
Can you know where your weapon is? I don't think we want a gun floating around, do we?
I just woke up. No, I don't know.
What happened? Was it him, or was this something more we're used to? Crazy?
Yeah, you could go with that. Big fuck off plant monster.
Fits and spurts, occasionally stopping to breathe between words. Chambers tells you what he remembers, what happened in the greenhouse. And as he tells the story, you begin to question, where is Eugene?
Buck's gonna get to his feet and mention to everybody, we heard a gunshot not like 5 minutes ago. We should be looking for that. Might even find the missing service weapon.
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah, well, he's gonna take charge and go have a little look around.
Yep.
After he quips to Chambers. Didn't know they taught you drawing at the academy.
You gesture to his book, flipping through the pages. The first half or so of the notebook is filled with quite ordinary case notes, names of suspects, addresses, dates, but towards the end, starting just about 2 months ago, just when Chambers would have had his first run-in with the agents of the Mythos, he stops writing things down, and instead the pages are filled with surprisingly detailed pen drawings of things from your worst nightmares.
I actually forgot that we had set this plot point up. This is fun.
Each of the images is complete with scrawled words in a language that you don't recognize. Words like Vertugen, Hia, and what looks like some corrupted, bastardized version of Latin. Some of the words don't appear to be in any language at all. The letters are not letters, but rather intricate, elaborate occult
Yeah, figured if this whole government agent thing didn't work out, they could try the arts. Think I got a chance?
It's creativity like that? Yeah, you're a shoo-in. Let's revisit this when there isn't a loaded gun floating around.
Yeah. As Buck hands the notebook back to you, Chambers, you wonder if it's worth mentioning that you have no memory of drawing any of those things.
Chambers would definitely sort of just not like bring attention to that.
Instead, you just nod, take the notebook, tuck it away in the folds of your vest, and then Buck, his gun still drawn, turns around, makes his way back out to the entrance hall to search for the source of the gunshot. Trixie, Angel, are you following along, or do you wish to remain here with Chambers?
I'm gonna remain with Chambers.
Probably wise. Your
Keep an
spell
eye
has
on
helped.
him.
Trixie?
Trixie will go ahead. She wants to decipher these ain't people and no things she's heard about.
So Trixie heads out of the room, following Buck, and I will ask Buck and Trixie to make spot hidden checks, please.
Can do.
The
See how it
prize?
goes this time. Oh, that's a fail by 5. I mean, you passed, so you can see it.
Trixie will see it. Left alone in the room, Angel kneeled down in front of Chambers, and you unwrap the bandage on the end of his stump to examine the wound for yourself. There's no cut, no damage to the skin. It looks as if the wound itself is fully healed. The skin has folded over, and it's as if there was never an arm there to begin with.
How's it looking, Doc?
Well, Stumpy, it looks like you've lost an arm, and it is completely healed over, so if we ever find an arm, I don't know how the fuck we're going to attack.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a lost cause anyway.
Maybe we might be able to attach something like a piece of wood or something to your arm.
I think I'll just go with the
Would you
low
want a peg
sleeve
leg
look.
on your arm?
It's very in this season.
Yeah. Needless to say, it's going to be hard to aim with just one hand.
Yeah, well, it's something Chambers will have to deal with.
He didn't think about that, actually.
But he realises it now, and now, for perhaps the first time, what you've lost starts to finally set in.
Oh,
I'll only take a little bit of training.
There goes your marksmanship record at the Bureau.
there goes a lot of shit.
Trixie and... Yep, go ahead.
No, that's all.
Trixie and Buck, you head upstairs. Downstairs is completely empty. The kitchen is deserted. The dining room's all packed up. The white sheet thrown over the dining table. So, if the gunshot came from the house, it must have come from upstairs. And that's when you see it, Trixie. You look down the hallway, see the door to the master bedroom, to Dr. Eugene's makeshift study. And you see fresh blood pooling under the crack of the door.
You still got your gun at least, Buck?
He flashes her a grin and holds it up in front of her.
Material around.
Sort of wouldn't leave home without it.
Who's gonna open the door?
You cover behind me. I'll see if I can sneak peek.
Yeah, I can't risk any more buckshot.
Holding your gun ready, you watch as Trixie sneaks ahead. She slowly approaches the door, grabs out to the doorknob, and turns it. There's a click, and she slowly pushes the door open. Trixie, I'd like you to make a sanity check for me, please.
That is a fail. A 3.
First you gasp, and then you scream. Your scream emanates through the house. Chambers and Angel would certainly have heard it on the first floor. You push the door open the rest of the way, revealing to Buck what's in the room. There's a desk just beyond the four-poster bed that Eugene has been using as a sort of makeshift study. He's piled it high with books, pieces of loose-leaf paper, and has been conducting all of his research here. The entire surface of the desk is currently drenched in blood, bone, and brain matter as Eugene's corpse slumps over it. Half of his skull missing. In his right hand, his fingers still twitching, he holds Chambers' sidearm.
I'm assuming that Buck can now enter the room and see this.
Yep, so Buck, go ahead, you make a sanity check, and then I'll describe how much you and Trixie lose.
Okie dokie. That is a 22, that's a success.
So Buck, you lose 1d3, and Trixie, you lose 1d6.
1d3. That is 3. Fantastic.
Lovely.
Ooh, that ain't too bad.
The smell of blood and cordite fills your nostrils. Here he is, your patron, the president of the Paranormal Club, and he's opted out at the first sign of trouble. In his left hand, you see a piece of paper dangling in his fingertips.
Buck is going to slowly approach the corpse and reach for the paper.
So you kneel down to extract the paper from his already stiffening fingers. You're half convinced it's going to come to life, but it doesn't. Pull the piece of parchment out from his fingers, his hand twitches, and then, somewhere in the recesses of his throat, hear a gurgle. As his dead lungs expel the last bit of remaining air. You unfurl the paper and hold it out so that Trixie can see. The shred of parchment is covered in blood, but you can just make out what Eugene has written upon it. In harried, frenzied handwriting, he has written, "I can see him. He can see me. There's nothing we can do anymore. The one beyond commands me to forfeit my soul."
Buck is going to be reeling at this and kind of like have to slump up against the wall. He's not used to people committing suicide. That's fresh for him.
And not in such a violent way.
No, definitely not.
Buck, you begin to feel sick inside as you reach over, extract Chambers' revolver from the still twitching right hand, and you slump against the wall. Trixie, what's your reaction?
Trixie's just going to be in shock, hand over her mouth, and seeing the gun be pulled from his hand, she's going to sort of gag a little bit and try to compose herself and... Oh, we should go back to the others. This is another mention of one beyond, or... We've got to figure out what this all means, because this can't be good.
Yeah.
Something's biting off limbs and driving people to madness, but...
And then...
We've got to go back.
Buck recognizes instantly that she's absolutely right. Yeah, the one beyond and all this other nonsense, it's spreading. Whatever's going on, we don't have a whole lot of time. Kind of chokes up a little bit and tries not to vomit. Yeah, let's head back downstairs. I can't stomach any more of this.
Suppressing your gag reflex, you exit the room, pulling the door shut behind you to block this scene out from sight. And then you make your way downstairs. Chambers, you open your eyes when you hear Buck's heavy footfalls ahead of you. And you sit up to see him and Trixie standing in the doorway. As you catch Buck's eyes, he lowers his head.
Yeah, Eugene didn't make it. I'm sorry.
Christ. Yeah,
Well, that sucks.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, you might want to not go looking around. And he's gonna
moving for a
gingerly
while.
place the revolver in Chambers' lap.
Not sure what I'm supposed to do with this.
Well, let his
Trixie's
spirit
gonna
guide
put her
you, my
hand-
friend.
Yeah.
Over the revolver in Chambers' hands. Are you feeling okay? Well, if you need a moment, you need to catch your breath.
Breath
Your
is
mind
good.
is running away.
I'll be alright. Thank you.
At this point, Chambers, you're sick of all this death, this suffering, and you just want to put a stop to it. Angel, you're somewhat attuned to spirits, Angel, and knowing that Eugene seems to have passed not 10 minutes ago, you have an idea that perhaps you could conduct a seance, though you're not sure what the others would feel about this.
I look at everyone and I'm like, are you all alright with me contacting his spirit? A seance of sorts.
Buck is going to look extremely bemused. As long as it doesn't end up like the last time.
Oh, you highly underestimate me. Angel Christ, I'm God's vessel upon this earth.
No
No.
comment.
I will be producing such a wonderful tale
Angel
on this.
Angel shuffles over to the nearby coffee table and she brushes away the doily that's on the surface, pulls out 5 candles, arranges them in a circle on the table and begins to light them. And then she pulls out what appears to be a little square pebble, places it in the very center of the circle. She clasps her hands together, closes her eyes, and begins to commune with the spirits. To the rest of you, here's a question. The grandfather clock out in the entrance hall says it is 4:40 p.m. You know that Bernard Corbitt finishes work at 5. It takes him about half an hour to get back home. Meaning, you have just under an hour before he returns to his place of residence.
how
Buck is
soon
going to
do you-
step... Sorry, go.
Angel, how soon do you think you can command his spirit and get an answer, or should we figure out a way to put him off on this drive home? It's getting fairly close.
Angel, go ahead and
Seance usually takes a while.
make an
go in with
occult check for me, Angel.
47. 489,
So that's a pass, okay. Angel, you think it'll take anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes for you to contact any nearby spirits.
I told them it would be an hour.
Buck pulls the piece of paper that Eugene left out of his pocket. We don't have time for this bullshit. We got something to do. and hands this over to the other two who haven't read this yet. Or the other three.
Yeah.
Two.
Chambers and
I can
Angel
count.
glance over the paper. So you have two main choices the way you cut it, Buck. You can rush into that house now, get to the bottom of this, and try to put a stop to everything before Bernard gets back. Or you can wait for him to return and sneak in later tonight as he sleeps. Failing that, you could wait for the morning for him to leave for work again. This is probably the last thing you want to do at the moment.
Buck's going to be getting it into his head that whatever's going on is spreading. Seeing Chambers' book and obviously Angel's complete madness and Eugene taking his own life. This is spreading to him, and they need to do something very quickly. So he's going to be quite enthusiastic about this. Look,
My friend.
this is getting out of hand. We have to do something about this, and we have to do it now.
Look, my friend. We still have the camera that we bought.
Indeed.
What did we buy with the camera?
As far as I'm aware, it was just a camera with a flash bulb. And a tripod. Yeah, that's right. Tripod.
Hang on, I got the notes here.
Like, do we have any development film?
You'd
Do
have
we have
enough.
any development liquids? Because I would be like...
I don't think you purchased developing liquids, but you've got film for it.
Yeah.
No, there's no way we could develop the film there. You need like a lab and
No,
stuff,
the
especially
development
back in
film
those
is to
days.
destroy dark, to fucking burn the place.
Oh,
That
wouldn't be quite
flammable.
That
flammable.
wouldn't be flammable.
Fertilizer
That
be
one's
flammable?
out.
Fertilizer can indeed be flammable if you find the right kind.
Yeah, if you find something like specifically like saltpeter or nitrite of some kind.
Anyway, she goes back to a seance.
Yeah, just
She's like,
conducting her ritual.
I think any information we can get is valuable. We just gotta figure out what we're gonna do when Corbitt gets back. Are we going to try and stop him before he gets back, or jump him as he walks in the door? Just try and get enough time to piece everything together. Oh, sorry, the music is setting off my microphone.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
I went to Google 1920s film development just out of curiosity. Second result is the Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, because I'm sure people have. So Chambers, do you have a say in this? Would you like to get back in that house, find that thing that did this to you, and put a stop to it, or have you had the fight taken out of you?
No, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. You're already standing. You already got your remaining arm gripped on the holster of your gun. So that seems to be 3 want to go check out the house and perhaps leave Angel here to conduct the seance and join you once she has more information.
I'll go wherever you gentlemen want me to go, but we've got to keep in mind that Corbitt should be home very soon.
The takeaway, by the way,
somewhere
was that they used potassium cyanide pretty frequently back in the day.
Yes,
So not flammable, but
gas
good.
to kill you.
Yeah. But the nitrates in old film stocks are highly flammable, but I don't think that's enough to burn down a house.
No. I'd say
No,
you
that'd be
could
like
get-
You say mix it with drywall.
you could.
Actually.
But you also know that Corbitt has a big greenhouse and probably has a stock of fertilizer somewhere nearby.
It would do. That'd be a much better bet.
And if the trouble is a plant monster, then must be enough fertilizer around that to at least kill that before we...
Yeah, if you're
Destroy the
interested
rest
in
of the place.
tangling with that again.
Is there anything else you can tell us, Chambers, about this cannibalistic plant?
Look, it's kind of fuzzy, but big fuck off tentacle looking vine thing. Hand. There was a hand with a. Yeah, no, there was. Fuck, there was people in there, and they were people. It's not pretty.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out then. Angel, a request.
Yes,
if you can't reach out to the spirit, could you perhaps maybe put your thoughts out to the spirit of either one of the children that the nurse was talking about? Seems like they died around here too, so...
I'll certainly try, darling. Now go. Have some fun. The spirits will guide you in the way that you wish.
Buck's already standing at the front door, ready to go. He gestures for you guys to hurry up, and so you rush out, leaving Angel in the living room, joining Buck in the entrance hall as he steps over the threshold into the waning late afternoon sun. Angel, are you going to conduct the seance, or do you want to go with them?
Oh, I'm conducting the seance.
Very well. Lovely. So, Buck, you take one last look at Angel kneeling over the coffee table, her hands clasped over this black pebble in the middle of her magic circle. And then you snort and pull the door to Bernard's house shut. The street is quiet. You can hear the distant rumble of cars starting to make their commute home from work. The smell of baking bread, roasting meat wafts from some of the houses down the street as wives prepare dinner for their returning husbands. And directly across the street, right in front of you, is the tiny single-room shack that is Mr. Corbitt's house. The great glass greenhouse behind it, dwarfing it, absolutely sparkling as it catches the late afternoon sun, nearly blinding you to look at it.
Well then, let us conduct.
How would you guys like to go about this?
Seeing it's glass, can we do a spot hidden to see if there's any fertilizer or...
Well, you'd have to get across the road and head over to it, but yeah, you can when you get there.
Yeah. Anything we want to do before we cross, guys?
Buck is going to be having second thoughts about leaving Angel behind all on her own. Yeah, last time we left her alone to do something, it bit us right in the ass. I don't know about this.
Seems whatever we do, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. She'll be the best hope we have for getting information if we need anything else. But for now, we can just scope it out, make sure Corbitt doesn't get back in. We don't have to go into anything too crazy yet.
Alright, good plan. Scope out the place, make a plan for later. Head back inside to Eugene's house.
Buck, you lead the other two across the street, step onto Corbitt's front lawn, begin to walk up the winding cobblestone path. Are you heading to the house or the greenhouse around the back?
Greenhouse first.
Yep. Okay. So as you take a right, turning away from the patio and begin to make your way around the side of the house, I would like Chambers, Buck, and Trixie to all make listen checks for me, please.
Can do.
I'll push that. That's still
That
fair.
is a pass.
I'm gonna push and see what happens. That is a pass.
Trixie and Buck, As you step off the cobblestone path onto the lawn and begin to make your way around the right side of the house, you hear the crash of breaking glass and rattling wood. Look around, trying to determine where the sound came from, and you see, almost directly at your feet, a small basement window at the base of the house, cut into the weatherboard. Just large enough that if you were able to find a way to open it, you'd be able to squeeze through.
Well, guess we found an entrance if we just want to sneak in a different way.
Or out.
You try to peer.
Is there any way we could?
Yep, go ahead.
I was going to ask if we could peer through it.
Yeah, I was going to say it. You were going to ask.
Yeah.
You kneel
We
down.
just went sync.
You kneel down, try to peer through the glass, and you can make out vague shapes on the other side. What looks like furniture, tables perhaps, but the basement is shrouded in darkness.
Alright, this looks like it could be a good way out or in, depending on what we do later.
Onwards to the greenhouse.
Onwards to the greenhouse, marching along.
You continue on, putting the basement window in the back of your minds for the moment. You round the corner, and there you see the last thing that Chambers saw before he blacked out. The vegetable patch right in front of the greenhouse. Portions of it have been dug up by Eugene Earle when he was last here. And nobody has been here to rebury the grisly objects in the dirt. As you see it, Chambers, once again, you think you see those hands, those legs, all piled in the hole, shudder and begin to move, but then you shake your head, and they're once again lying inert.
If we're going to be coming back here later, and we don't want him to know that, we've been screwing around in his garden, we should clean this up.
Alright. Someone want to rebury it?
Buck's noticed that Chambers really doesn't want to, so he's going to volunteer and step forward without saying a word.
So Chambers, you step forwards, you see the shovel lying on the ground as if it was just tossed there, probably in a panic. You lift it up and start to shovel dirt back into the hole. And as you do so, you can't help staring down into it, into this menagerie, this human junkyard. I'd like you to make a sand check, please.
Yeah. That's a pass.
It's a pass. No sanity lost, and you shake your head and look away, breathing a sigh of relief as you toss the last pile of dirt into the hole and then stamp your foot in the soil, making sure the earth is compact. As Buck is doing this, Trixie, you're right in front of the greenhouse. If you want, you can go press up against the glass and take a look, see if you find anything inside.
Yes, please, I'll do that.
Yeah, go ahead, make a spot hidden check.
I'll push that. No, that's a fail. I got exactly the same both rounds.
So you walk up to the greenhouse, press against the grass, and just as Chambers described, it's nearly impossible to see anything. The plants are so overgrown within that greenery has covered every inch of the glass, preventing anyone from peering into the greenhouse itself.
Well, no lucky, it's too thick. And I do a scope around to see if there's any entrance other than the door into the greenhouse.
You do a quick lap around the perimeter of the greenhouse, and unfortunately there is just the one door, still ajar from when Chambers entered hours earlier.
Actually, speaking of Chambers, hey Robert, anything coming back to you about what you saw in there? You could help us maybe?
Not a whole lot. Honestly, I didn't get to see a whole lot before, shit went down.
This
Do
time,
I
however,
actually, Dale, do I remember anything in
I was
particular?
going to say, you can go ahead and make a power check.
Well, that's a pass.
You look over at the greenhouse, see Trixie standing in the doorway, and then there's a flash of memory. Eugene running screaming from inside the greenhouse, his mouth wide open, doing his best to spit up something that's oozing out of his lips. He exits the greenhouse, stands there and begins to splutter onto the grass. A viscous, pale green liquid is oozing out of his bottom lip. He looks at you as he spits into the grass and he says, "They can see me! They can see me! They can see me! I don't know what to do! I can't hide!"
Yeah, Jesus. Rob's gonna relay this.
Well, sounds like whatever's going on in there, we should be pretty cautious of it. He's starting to look a little bit sheepish and start to tug at his collar a little bit. I don't blame you. You don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in there either.
Oh, I can do this.
You can do this.
Sure, you don't think you got much more of
I can do this.
shot at it. Alright, you're the boss.
Chambers, you fumble for your weapon, draw it in unison with Buck, and the two of you step forward. Trixie, will you follow them into the greenhouse?
Yes, I will, but a lot slower.
Three of you step over the threshold into the greenhouse. And as you do, there's a gust of wind. Whoosh! It catches the metal door, which slams shut behind you. Angel, across the street, is communing with the spirits. Angel, your mind is not with your body. You're floating in the voids, the blackness, the realm that is close to God. You feel yourself in orbit of God, joining the stream of souls that eternally circle him, waiting for their chance to be reborn. Hear a rush of voices, see flashes of memory from hundreds of thousands of lives. You just have to find the right one. Go ahead and make a power check for me, please, Angel.
That is a 38 out of my 60, so that is a success.
As you focus your mind, you delve deeper into the stream of souls, scan their memories, their identifying marks, the essence of who they were to find Eugene Earl. You lose 1 point of sanity for delving this far, but it's worth it. You find him. Suddenly, you're experiencing his last moments. You're seated in the desk upstairs in the master bedroom. You've just scrawled your final words on the note. And for a second, you linger on the revolver in your right hand. And you take a deep breath, bring it to your head, and squeeze the trigger. Eugene Earl's voice enters your mind. I saw him. I saw him in the realm beyond our own. The key and the gate, using his form as a bridge between the worlds. He's coming, and there's naught we can do about it. It's preordained. Preordained.
Preordained means nothing to me.
I saw him with my own eyes. My mind pulled between the two worlds. The gateway is in the blood of the vine.
Blood of the vine, eh? I'll remember that, my dear friend.
And the avatar is below the ground.
Below the ground.
If the avatar is allowed to grow, the gate and the key can bridge the gap between the worlds. There's no way you can stop it, but you can delay the inevitable. Can't you try?
Do you really think I want to try? What if I really just want the gap to be bridged? My dear friend, you know I'm part of a cult. But who do I follow?
The
I'll
vision.
leave that to your last dying memory.
The vision of Eugene Earle in your mind hangs his head. When he looks up again, it's with a smile, and where his eyes would be, there's simply nothing but inky black empty sockets. He says, You see what I see. You see what I see, Angel. The key and the gate. He is but an agent of God. It is God's will to unite the realms, to bridge the gap. That's why it's preordained.
Do you remember what I've said several times in the past? My name is Angel Christ, but a vessel of God himself. I'm gonna let this gap be bridged, my friend. And oh, the glory of it all. It's going to be wonderful.
Those empty eye sockets stare back at you for a moment as the stream of soul swirls around you, speeding through the black void towards something beyond. Suddenly you feel a sense of overwhelming power as something in the blackness becomes aware of your presence and fixes its eyes upon you. Eugene Earle smiles. He opens his mouth, and this time it is not his voice that comes through the lips. The key and the gate. Breach the key and the gate. Bridge the realms. In the name of Yog-Sothoth, the one beyond. The gateway between the realm of dreams and the realm of the living. If it must come to pass, you must ensure it comes to pass. Find the avatar below ground, and ensure that Yog-Sothoth's will is done.
I shall, my lord.
And then, you blink. You're free once more, back in your body, kneeling over the coffee table. The 5 candles have burnt out, wisps of smoke floating off the wicks. I'd like you to make a sanity check, please.
That's a 34 out of my 39, so success.
Success. You lose 1d3 sanity, but you gain 1d10 points of Cthulhu Mythos skill.
Oh, that's a 5, so I'll just go with that being a 3.
There you go. Suddenly your mind is filled with forbidden knowledge that was not there before.
Oh, 1d10. Cthulhu Mythos. 2.
2. It's better than nothing. And you
I know
realise
it's 5.
what Eugene Earle saw in his final moments. Something is growing in Corbitt's house, and if it is not stopped, that terrible, all-powerful entity you felt will enter this world. Currently, the others are over there, trying to find a way to stop it. Do you wish to go and join them, Angel? See if you can witness this thing with your own eyes and ensure what is
Actually?
preordained comes to pass?
Yes.
You clutch the blackwood ring on your finger and smile as you step out of the living room to find the others. We move back to the greenhouse. Buck and Chambers, you whirl around, your guns pointed in front of you as you see the door shut. It's just the wind. Carefully you turn around. You take stock of the alien jungle around you. What are you looking for in here in particular?
Anything that would be flammable material,
Yeah, so likely fertilizer.
just in case things don't go right. So like saltpeter or potassium nitrate or something.
Chambers, Trixie, you looking for the same?
Chambers
I think
is,
we'll look for the same.
Chambers is probably gravitated towards the vine that he
Towards
saw.
the vine. So I will ask Trixie and Buck to make a spot hidden check, and I will ask Chambers to please make a power check for me.
I thought all these power checks like the one thing I'm good at. Pass.
I pushed and failed.
Yep. Okay, Buck, it all rests on you.
Alright, let's see if I can push it to make it happen. Yes, 19.
Step into one of the rows between the overgrown foliage, with Trixie following you, squinting, trying to peer through the branches, the leaves, the tufts of grass. Then you see it. A little metal cupboard at the very back of the greenhouse. One of the doors is ajar, and you can see sacks of fertilizer piled on top of each other. You can just make out an image of a black flame on the side of one of the bags, a warning that this stuff is indeed flammable. Meanwhile,
How big is it? Would it be carryable?
they're about the size of big bags of flour. They're carryable, but they'd be heavy.
But not easily. I'm gonna let everybody else know about this and mentally file it away for later.
Meanwhile, Chambers, you branch off from the other two, and in spite of yourself, become drawn to that plant. The plant with spiky blue-green leaves and a large fleshy white and purple flower. You know where it is this time. And as you approach it, you see the vines and the leaves quiver as if with excitement. You're not sure if it remembers you, but you remember it. You see its stem, the vine covered in long red dagger-like thorns, twisting around and round in a spiral shape, embedded into the ceramic pot from which the whole plant grows. The tips of the fingers of that hand you dug up are still visible, poking through the earth. What would you like to do, Chambers?
So sorry. I think that cut out a little bit.
Yep, just saying you could still see the fingertips poking through the earth of the pot.
Yeah, he's reaching down for those fingertips again, but this time he's keeping his wits very much about him. He's looking around first.
Dig your hand into the pot. Begin to dig up begin to dig the tips of the fingers, digging up the hand. You manage to get further than you did last time. And this time, you see it. You caught sight of something shiny last time. You didn't have a chance to look at it. Now, as you grab handfuls of dirt out of the pot, toss them away onto the concrete, you fully unearth the hand. And there you find, hanging from the stump at the end of it, a chain that's caked brown with dirt. At the end of the chain is a small brass key. A spare house key.
Oh, that could have come in fucking handy. Alright.
Reach down, lift it up over the stumpy hand, and just as you free it, you have your wits about you. So you see one of the blue leaves twitch and begin to dance, getting ready to expel its terrible, noxious gas. What would you like to do?
Yeah, he's just absolutely just getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Getting the fuck out, yep. You may make a con check with advantage if you like.
Sure. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I missed by 10. I'm gonna spend luck on that.
Yep. Sure enough, you see the slit on the flower open, and the pale green fumes begin to puff out. The cloud gathering around you, but you're ready for it. You pull the hem of your vest up above your mouth and nose and turn and run back down the aisle to the entrance of the greenhouse. You look over your shoulder. The cloud of green gas hangs in the air where you were standing a second ago, and then it starts to disperse and fade away.
James flips the bird.
Yeah, stick your finger up at it. This time, you got its treasure. Meanwhile, Buck and Trixie, you see where the fertilizer is stored. What would you like to do? The cupboard is right at the very back of the greenhouse. There's about 10 meters between you and there, and all you have to do is make your way down this aisle between all of these bizarre, overgrown plants.
Great, there should be no trouble.
Buck is going to size up the distance and see whether he would, in a pinch, be able to just take a shot at it.
To the fertilizer?
Yeah, just to size up whether, in a pinch, that would actually work as a solution.
Go ahead and make a firearms check for me.
What is my firearms? My firearms is 71. Okay. That's definitely a pass. That's 9.
You close your eyes, imagine firing a bullet at the bags of fertilizer, calculating the distance in your head. And you're sure you could do it. There's not a 100% chance. You'd have to take a second to aim, catch your bearings, but in a pinch, you're sure you could hit that.
Yeah, in that case, he's going to make the decision not to head that way and not to disturb it. The last thing they want to do is leave any evidence they were here if Corbitt comes home and looks around his greenhouse.
Good idea. Trixie, anything you want to do?
Are there any sort of farming tools or anything we can use as weapons in here?
Go ahead, make a spot hidden check for me.
That is... And is a pass, that one.
Pass. You look around, and about a meter away from you, still stuck in the earth, there's a sickle. Reach forwards, grab hold of the wooden handle, and pull it from the earth. You touch it with the tip of your finger. It's still sharp.
Well, this can come in handy. I'm also going to scope out if there are any other quicker ways I could get out, because I'm thinking that Buck and I could actually lay a trail of that flammable stuff, but if we can't get out safely, then it's not really any point.
You can make an intelligence check for me.
Oh, 13, that is... Please tell me I'm smart.
13, is that a pass?
I'm just double checking, I can't find it. A, B, C,
It's right
D,
at the top. It's not in your skills, it's in your...
Oh, that's right. It's from real life intelligence. Oh, that is a 13 out of 80, so yeah, that's a pass.
So there is only the front door, but you peer around and you notice that there are parts where the plant growth that hugs the glass walls is thinner. And if you needed to quickly get out, you could probably tear away some of these leaves and vines and just smash through the glass.
Alright, I'll relay that to Buck. What do you think? Should we maybe set out an ant trail of stuff and set it light, and if we need to run out, we just smash through that wall?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Shouldn't do it now, though.
Yes,
We should wait till Mr. Corbitt's sleeping and we can get up some sneaky business.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good thinking. That way we've got a better chance of not getting caught and he's getting home early.
Last thing we want to do is raise the alarms.
You hear footsteps behind you, whirl around and see Chambers there, a look of glee on his face. He gives the finger to something behind him, then turns around and holds out his remaining hand, showing you the spare house key.
Well, look what you found.
Yeah, Chambers is sort of just swinging the chain around a little bit, like trying to give himself some cockiness because he needs a win right now.
Yeah, well, he got a win, and
He did
he's
get a
relishing
win.
it.
He's milking it.
Face your fears, huh?
Always do.
That's the man I know.
No, it is. Shall we get moving?
Yeah, how much longer until Corbitt comes home?
So you step out of the greenhouse, you reach into your pocket, Buck, pull out the pocket watch. It is 5 p.m. You still have half an hour.
Oh, we are definitely going in that house.
If you like.
Hey, Robert, why don't we check out if that key does anything? We got like 20 minutes before we should hastily make a retreat.
Sounds good to me.
Alright, you can do the honors.
So,
Yeah.
as you make your way back along the cobble path, you round the corner, emerging in the front yard, just in time to see Angel crossing the street, her many talismans and necklaces jingling with each step she takes. She steps up onto the lawn and waves at you.
Hello,
Here comes
darlings. Alright, so talking with his spirit, a little hard. Very rhymey, I'd say. Best I could get from it, we don't want to burn that place down. Something about it bridging the gap between reality and dreams?
Black has never trusted a word this woman has said and will continue to do so.
Yeah, Buck's got his mind set.
Just silently to himself. He won't announce anything.
Angel,
I think that plant might be linked to something underground. No, not its roots, just...
As Angel says the word underground, you remember the sound of smashing glass you heard coming from the basement. Not 20 minutes ago.
But whatever it is, it's underground. Sounds like it's trying to get out.
Not from what I know. It was very cryptic. All spirits can be quite cryptic. Some speak truth at least, but it's hard to tell.
Buck gestures to Chambers. After you, good sir.
As Chambers...
Sort of-
Yep, go
Go
ahead.
on. No, that's right.
I was going to say, as Chambers reaches, grabs the key, inserts it, steps up onto the patio and inserts it into the front door. Angel, you feel a sense of excitement build up inside you and you don't know why.
Well, let's go.
Chambers, you're doing the honours?
Absolutely. With a bit of a flourish, I think.
Yes. So, how do you open the door? You just push open the door, take a bow, gesture for everyone to step inside, let the show begin?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he will.
You take a bow with a flourish. Everyone steps past you. Angel is the last over the threshold, and as soon as she steps inside, you follow her, pulling the door shut behind you. No lights are on in the house, but there's enough ambient light coming through the windows, even with the sky outside starting to turn pink as the sun goes down, that you can just about make out the contents of the room you step into. The house is not big at all. It mostly appears to be one large room. You can make out a bed off in the far right corner of the room, and opposite that a very tiny kitchenette that looks like it hasn't been used in quite some time. But the majority of the room has been transformed into a makeshift library. Above a desk, right beside the front door, is a collection of books standing on a single shelf. The walls to the left and right are covered in various antique bookshelves of different sizes and makes, each of them groaning under the weight of hundreds of books. They're all of different sizes, shapes, and colours, and what you're able to read of the spines indicates that they are all books devoted to either botany or the occult. They have bizarre titles such as 20 Experiments in the Occult by Dr. Arthur Tumley, and things as mundane as 30 Ways to Grow Backyard Carrots.
Quite a gardener, my friend.
On the very edge of the kitchenette, right beside a back door, the window of which has been boarded up with a thin plaque of wood, you see a wooden door that leads down into the basement.
Chambers gets a weird hunch.
Yep. What's your weird hunch?
What kind of hunch?
Chambers' weird, potentially traumatized, potentially just detective instinct hunch is to look at the botany books. Rifle through them a bit.
Yeah. I'd like you to go ahead and make a library use or a spot hidden or a hard spot hidden check for me, please, Chambers.
As in disadvantage?
As in it's got to get under half of your skill.
It'll have to be that, yeah. Yes, that's slightly better odds. Bust. There you go.
Lovely. You head over to the nearest bookshelf, start to look through the botany books. Most of them are mundane, the type of stuff you'd find at any bookstore or any community college. taking a short course on how to grow a veggie patch. But there's one particularly thick one, and the thickness is surprising given that its title is 20 simple ways to grow plants indoors. It's definitely the biggest book on the shelf, so you pull it out and open it up, and to your surprise, you find that the pages inside the book have been carved away, revealing a square, hollow shape. And inside this shape is a smaller, ancient-looking book bound in weathered black leather. Gold lettering on the cover reads, "The Gate and the Key."
Chambers is going to sort of wink to Buck and say, "Still got it." And then he's going to just toss the smaller book to Angel.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Angel. You look at the book. The title appears to be a new edition. The gold is still shiny and fresh, but the book itself is quite old, and as you flip it open, you're not surprised at all to find that the text inside is in archaic Latin.
Well, lucky you chucked the book to the person who knows a bit of Latin.
Yeah, I thought the odds might be good.
I start reading it.
Yeah, go ahead, make a Latin check for me.
That is a 14 out of 61.
It'll take hours to do a thorough reading of the book, but flipping through it, you skim it and determine that this book is a treatise on the entity known as the Key and the Gate. It reads, one of the passages reads, "He knows the gate, he is the gate, he is the key and guardian of the gate. Past, present, future are all one in him. He knows where the old ones broke through of old, and where they shall break through again. He knows where they have trod earth's fields, and where they still tread them, and why no one can behold them as they tread." The book goes on to describe how the one beyond, the key and the gate, greatest objective is to bridge the gap between his reality and our reality. Two worlds that were once whole, split in two at the dawn of time, and separate ever since. However, he is not all-powerful. He cannot simply manifest in our reality and enact his will, so he relies on faithful servants beyond the veil. Servants who will build for him a body, an avatar that contains his essence, that would be his representative on Earth. The book continues by listing a number of names for this entity. The key and the gate, the lurker at the threshold, the one beyond, the opener of the way, a Forgamon, the all-encompassing.
Wow, quite interesting.
The book contains a
speaks of
number of
this
spells,
engaged.
but you'll have to look at those when you do a thorough reading.
Very interesting what you've given me. It speaks of this key and this gate, how they can bring the world back to one. Looks like the world was separated quite a while ago, from what I can gather from this reading book. But other than that, a bunch of weird names in here.
And this entity.
Best I can translate for you.
Do you tell them all that you read, or do you keep some of it secret?
I keep some of it secret. I just say the one that lurks within, the great beyond,
Great. Yep.
key in
one
the
beyond.
gate.
James doesn't know whether to think that the text is like corroborating her or whether she is making the text corroborate.
That's it. And she may not reveal all that she reads. She may not reveal to you that the purpose of this entity is servants, and therefore possibly the purpose of Corbitt is to create for it a body that it can inhabit in this world. But she reads enough that you may be able to roll your Cthulhu mythos to see if any forbidden knowledge comes to mind. So Trixie and Buck and Chambers, go ahead, roll Cthulhu mythos.
With pleasure.
I'm gonna pass this.
Nope. And I'm gonna push it. Oh, yeah, I passed 3.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
And you passed. And you passed with 1, did you, Trixie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
2 was passed. How about that?
So, Buck, as Angel quietly reads off these list of names: the lurker at the threshold, the key in the gate, a Forgamon. Another name drifts into your head. A name that you encountered in your deep dive into the occult in the 2 weeks since the Corbitt house, and now you consumed every book you could find at the local library, anything that looked to have anything to do, even ever so slightly, with the supernatural. And you remember reading this name, Yog-Sothoth. He is a cosmic entity and outer god, born of the nameless mist. He is the father of Cthulhu and Hasta, and the ancestor of the Hyperborean race, the guardian of the land of dreams, who seeks nothing more than to unite his realm with ours. Trixie, you recall much the same, except an extra piece of information comes to mind. Yog-Sothoth is trapped beyond the divide between worlds. He cannot appear on Earth unless his servants make the circumstances just right. He cannot be summoned. He cannot be called. He needs a body that contains his seed, that he can inhabit and turn into a mirror image of himself. I'd like everyone to make a sen check, please.
11.
That is a fail, unfortunately.
So for a fail, it is a sen loss of 1d3. For a pass, just 1.
Yay, well, I succeeded.
Oh.
I rolled 11.
Oh, it's 2. Rip. Okay.
Angel, you feel the anger, frustration building up inside you, but you do not let the others see it. The portion of the text that you kept secret is known to them regardless.
Perhaps you need to brush up on your Latin a bit, darling.
Yeah, you didn't mention any
well,
of
I
that.
have been doing quite tiring things recently. I've probably just misread.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can understand that.
Seems to be some form of magic written down here. Will take a bit more deciphering, obviously. But,
Chambers declines to acknowledge that he just woke up from having the worst shit happen to him, and he's doing fine.
Yeah, Chambers is just not listening to that. Let's just get this done.
Conscious of time, Buck is going to wander over to the cellar door and press his ear up against it to see if he can hear anything downstairs.
Press your ear up against the cellar door. Make a listen check, please. And Angel,
With pleasure.
you slide the book into the folds of your dress. You're going to have a proper look at this thing later in your own time, when no one else is hanging over your shoulder.
That's a fail, but I will use a little bit of luck to push it. That's 4 luck. So that's a pass.
You hear the sound of something made of wood clattering and falling onto a hard floor.
Bucky's going to relay that on. Yeah, it sounds like this gate is waking up and thrashing this Mr. Corbitt's basement furnishings. We should probably leave that to him. For now, at least.
Probably. But you never know.
I would like...
No, I ain't messing around with his shenanigans. Not until he's sound asleep or held at gunpoint. One or the other. It's fine with me.
That's fair enough, Buck. I would like everybody to please go ahead for me and make a luck check.
No luck.
That is a 40. I fail because I have
Fail,
17.
Yeah, you're well luck.
Just over, so just a pass.
Just a pass. And Buck,
38, so that's a pass.
that's a pass. Yeah. You brace yourself, expecting something to jump out at you. You almost get the feeling that maybe you miscalculated, and that today of all days might be the day that Mr. Corbitt knocks off work early, but he doesn't. Not today. You're lucky.
Buck's gonna check his watch again.
We've got about 20 minutes left. It took about 10 minutes to find that book and read it.
I've got the same feeling, Buck. Did you want me to press guard at the door or anything?
No, that's even worse. If he sees you, that's game over for us.
Well, I could borrow Chambers' car and pretend I've broken down the street or something. I could be close to the basement window. If you guys need help, I can slip down there or give you a shout if he's on his way back.
It feels like we've found almost everything we need for now. Save going downstairs. I think we might have exhausted the place. And I'm not kicking open that door. Not while he's about to come home.
Yeah. Well, this is probably going to be your last chance to search the house, at least until you return. Is there anything you'd like to do before you leave?
Just keep looking around, I guess. Buck's just going to keep prodding around and see
Yep.
what he can locate.
So
Yeah,
Buck,
ditto that.
Buck, go ahead, and Chambers, go ahead and make spot hidden checks.
That is a fail by 2, so I'm going to spend 2 more luck and bring that to success.
Okay. So, Buck, you decide you're probably not going to have a chance to rifle around while Mr. Corbitt is right there in the bed, asleep. So you take this chance. You start searching through all the books, head over to the desk, lift up the pile of papers, pull open the drawers, and you find nothing of note save for, at the very bottom of the desk drawer, a black leather-bound book, almost identical to Chambers' casebook. It's a notebook, a journal.
Yeah, Buck's gonna rifle through that immediately.
Yeah, Buck, go ahead, make an own language check for me.
An own language. I don't actually have a rating on that,
So just
but it
for
should
your
be default.
education.
What's the default pass?
Yeah, education.
Just my education?
Yeah.
Right, okay, easy. That is definitely a pass. That's a critical pass, 15.
You call the others, and they gather around you as you open the book and begin to read it aloud. It appears you've found Bernard Corbitt's diary. September 10th. Another embarrassing memory lapse today. Perhaps this journal, as the alien has suggested, may help me deal with the problem. September 13. I've had Mother sign the last of the legal papers transferring ownership of Father's company to myself. Now I will finally be able to have the remainder of my great-grandfather's materials taken out of storage. In addition to the few works I managed to salvage from the ruins of the chapel, this will provide me with a clearer picture of his research. As you read this, you look over at Angel. And Angel, you reach into the folds of your dress, pull out the book, the one titled The Gate and the Key. And there, on the back of the front cover, there's a message written in ornate handwriting. It reads, "As my last will and testament, I leave this, my copy of The Gate and the Key, to the Brotherhood of the Chapel of Contemplation, Walter Corbitt." This is the book that was lifted from the chapel ruins. September 14th. Mother seems to find the new nursing home agreeable enough, but I am afraid her condition continues to decline rapidly. The death of father has sadly unhinged her mind. If she knew of my role in his demise, although I don't in the least feel responsible, I'm sure it would kill her. She would never understand the power of my lord Forgamon. He who granted my ancestor Walter with the mastery of the occult, and who my father rejected. October 21st. Have met a charming young woman at a social gathering. Her name is Lynn Myers. I've arranged to take her to the picture show next week. My lord, I think, would approve of her. You take a breath and turn the page. December 12. Spent 30 hours in ceremony. Have communicated with a Forgamon. He demands a bridge to this world and needs my help. This is the work my great-grandfather led in the Chapel of Contemplation. According to his notes, my lord is the one beyond, he who lurks across the threshold between realms. I shall accomplish that which the chapel never did, and grant my lord his wish. January 10. Found myself wanting to make Lynn my wife, and have sealed the thought by proposing to her. She accepted, and we have set the date of marriage for March 9 of this year. Forgamon assures me that the time is right. March 13th. Lynn and I have returned from our honeymoon. We've decided to return to father's home as it is excellent for raising a family, and it is rightfully mine. In May, all being well, Lynn will accompany me to Leylon for a new herbal tea supply. This may be my last trip out of the country for a while. A family man must be willing to settle down. April 1st. I had to send Lynn to visit her mother while I cast the spells for the ceremony. I don't believe she is ready yet to understand. Forgamon wishes for a union of flesh. He demands the union be made with my wife, so I am to await 13 days, cast another spell, then wait for the time to be right. A sense of disgust starting to build in your head. Buck, you turn to the final page. April 14th. I cast the spell in the morning, and a Forgamon came. He visited Lynn for several hours as she slept, and he has approved of her. She seems to suspect nothing. July 19. Have made my wife remain in bed throughout the day as she has taken ill from her pregnancy. I took the opportunity to contact a Forgamon for guidance. I am to deliver the baby myself at home. My master has directed me to raise this child as if it were my own. November 21st, the final entry. Horror of horrors! My whole life is in ashes. Poor Lynn went into labour today, and in the process of giving birth, she perished, despite all I did to safeguard her. Nurse Dunlap blundered into the room at the worst time, and when she saw the child, she took leave of her senses. In trying to take care of her, I may have neglected Lynn at a critical moment, which sealed her fate. At any rate, my beloved is gone, and I can only blame myself. A second child, a boy, was born dead, and I have turned his and Lynn's bodies over to the funeral home. A Forgamon's child has been hidden in the basement. It is limbless and can barely breathe. I do not think it will live long. You finish reading the diary.
Does Dunlap...
This sick bastard.
Quite fucked in the head, I would say, but that was to be expected.
You can understand.
We are talking about the church here.
Yeah. Of course, your church would totally not do anything like this, Angel. They don't need to summon a god. They already have you.
Buck's going to be getting ideas about perhaps actually getting the fertilizer later.
Yeah, burning down the house. And as you let the
I think
words...
Chambers has a similar thought, yeah.
Yeah, Chambers has a similar thought. In fact, you still have enough time.
What are we thinking, everyone? Should we come back later, or should we settle this now?
I think we
How much
should
time
wait
do we
till
have?
tonight.
You gaze at your watch. It's 5:15, 15 minutes, give or take.
Makes a
sounds like
distraction
enough
if
time
you
to
want to
me.
go in now.
You know
All you gotta
what?
do is
That's
get a
a great
bag.
idea.
Toss the bag inside, spill it all over the ground, and get the fire started. But do you think you have enough time for that?
I mean, if we send Trixie down to cause a commotion and get Corbitt's attention for a little while, we'll have extra time.
Yes. If you see him start to turn into the street, perhaps.
Trixie, you feel like having some car trouble?
Oh, been having that inkling all day today. Just
Yeah, Chambers, last time I was taking your wheels for a spin, they weren't working so good. And he just kind of winks at him. Yeah, I think that'd do mighty well.
And there's one more question. This drifts into Chambers' mind. Burning the house down seems like the best thing to do, but this is Lexington. This is a quiet, peaceful street. How on earth are you going to explain such a thing?
Yeah, how indeed.
Angel just leaves. She walks out.
Yep.
if no one sees us here, no reason to suspect.
Buck gets a glint in his eye. The only witness we have is Mr. Corbitt, and
He ain't home yet.
well, he could find his way into this house before we light the fuse.
So, how would you like to do this?
This discussion of killing a man does cause Chambers more than a little pause. He is a man of the law. He's not supposed to be doing that. But he kind of understands the desire at the moment.
Yeah, Trixie will be hesitant too. That's why she wants to sort of do her best to distract while everybody destroys everything, and she doesn't really feel like it could be connected to the fire. So she wants to try and resort to violence as little as possible.
If we wait till nighttime, we could quite easily start the fire with him in the house.
With him in the house.
Burn down the greenhouse, burn down the house from the basement. Oh, Buck is not putting up with this shit anymore. Fucking, Eugene Earl killed himself earlier. Everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
This is
I write a
true.
note and put it in his post box.
What do you write on the note, Angel?
Tonight your house shall burn. Oh, best to get your kid away. And I make sure that no one else sees it.
Yeah, you wait till everyone else is discussing what to do. Scrawl it down on a shred of paper. Slide it into his letterbox and then walk away. A big grin on your face.
We can frame him for fraud. We already know he killed his father. And we've got written proof right here. So we could set it up to look like he set the fire.
That is a fantastic suggestion. So Buck kind of tosses around the book in his hand, the notebook. Alright, so let's hold a vote. Burn it now or burn it later?
Angel's already stepped out, and so you take her vote to say, burn later.
I say we burn it now. No reason to hold off. If I can distract him long enough, we can give this place enough time to go up in flames.
Chambers, what do you think?
That seems like the best option. Buck, I understand the sentiment, but I don't think we can kill this man.
As evil
Yeah.
as you, I don't think I could bring myself to his level, so I agree.
I guess I did get a little ahead of myself. Yeah, no, that's for the best. I do need to be able to sleep at night. Alright. Chambers, Trixie, let's make our way to the garden.
Step out of the house, your boots crunching up the cobblestone path. The sky above is blood red. You're doing this just as darkness starts to fall. Make your way into the greenhouse and grab the bags of fertilizer, one each.
I'll grab the keys off Chambers, and I feel like you'd be better off with this. Give him the sickle. And could I borrow your gun? If I'm gonna have any trouble with him, I feel like I might be better if I have something a bit more close range.
You know how to use it?
Oh, I've had some experience, let's just say.
Define some experience.
Oh, look, a couple of rodents out on the farm. Nothing sinister, I swear, but my aim's pretty good, and if he's standing right there, I don't think I'd miss.
What do you say?
Oh, well, I'm not going to make much use of it. Alright, just, look, don't point it at your foot or at anybody else.
Oh, yes, I know, that's the first thing they teach you. Thank you, I
First thing
appreciate
you'll
it.
forget.
And you try not to stick any more limbs in mysterious plants. I'll do my best to hold them off, and you all do what you can to get this place up and going.
So,
Good luck and Godspeed.
you hoist some bags of fertilizer out of the greenhouse, stack them up outside the front door of Corbitt's shack, and then you wish each other good luck. The pocket watch says it is 5:25. Corbitt is expected at any moment. Trixie turns, dashes across the road, and pulls open the door to Chambers' car, slides inside. Angel, you're standing on the front lawn of the house. You see Chambers and Buck stacking fertilizer, preparing to burn the place to the ground, while Trixie climbs into the car to head off Mr. Corbitt and distract him. This was preordained, said Eugene Earle. It doesn't matter what they do. They'll only delay the inevitable. But maybe there's a way you can help this come to pass. What would you like to do?
I sit down in the grass and watch the sky.
Watch the sky. Watch the deep red of the sky turn darker and darker until it's the colour of blood. As Chambers and Buck hoist the bags of fertilizer inside. Buck, Chambers, you rip open the bags. The stench of manure fills your nostrils as you upend the bags, spilling the brown powder all over the floor. As soon as a bag is empty, you grab the next, tear it open, shake it, throwing handfuls, clumps of fertilizer over the books, over the furniture, spraying a line at the foot of the basement door. As you do so, Trixie carefully drives Chambers' patrol vehicle down the street. Its engine rumbles as it carries her to the end of the street, and then she turns left onto the main road, finding herself parallel with Mr. Corbitt. His black Model T driving down the road towards you. What do you do, Trixie?
I was going to pull up on the street beforehand and sort of park the car in the middle of the road and block the way off.
Yep.
And seeing him approach, I will open up the hood, and I've got a compact of foundation powder. I'm going to sort of toss it up in the air like there's smoke coming out the hood.
Nice.
Ninja tactics.
Just want to point out that the two games I've run today have both involved people pretending their cars broke down.
It works. What can I say?
It works.
Yeah. So
Something in the water.
you see
I'm in the
his,
middle of the road, so we can't go past.
yeah. You see the headlights at the end of the road drawing closer and closer. You've got just enough time. You swerve the car into the middle of the road. The tires squeal. And then you park it, kill the engine, and climb out. If anyone came by, it would look like the car broke down here as you were merging from one lane to the next. You pop the hood, lean over, puff your foundation in the air, creating a plume of white smoke. Just as you hear the rumbling of the Model T from behind you, you whirl around to see Bernard Corbitt smiling his friendly smile, waving at you. "Oh, Miss Fellowfew! Looks like you're having a bit of car trouble there."
Oh, thank the gods. Yes, it just decided it was going to park it on me. You wouldn't happen to know anything about automobiles, would you?
I'd like you to make either a charm or a fast talk check for me, Trixie.
That is an 18. That is a pass. Oh, Let's pass, yeah.
You lean in, bat your eyelids, grab the hem of your dress, pretending to adjust it, but really pulling it up to show off a bit of your leg up to the knee. He smiles and he says, "Oh, well, I'm a bit of an old hand. I like to tinker around sometimes. Look, it's not a greenhouse. I'm more of a green thumb than I am a tinkerer, but let's take a look. Maybe we just need to change a plug or turn a lever or something like that. We'll get this sorted out."
Yeah, I'm not much mechanic myself, but I did notice there was a ticking right at the back there. I don't know if something's might have loosened up a bit.
Oh, sounds like it.
A bit taller.
Tell you what, I got a wrench in the back seat there. I'm just gonna grab that. We might need to tighten something. You just climb into the vehicle, dear, because I think we'll need you to try to get it started in a moment. And he leans over, reaches for something in the back seat, produces a huge wrench. And then he says, "Okay, all right. Let me find a place to park, shall we? And let's see if I can help you out." He smiles and winks, and then he grabs the steering wheel, pulls it to the left, and begins to turn it as he moves his car onto the side of the road, up onto the nearby curb to park it safely. Meanwhile, back in the house, fertilizer covers the floor, the walls, the furniture. This place is ready to go.
Bucky's going to make extra sure and open the basement door, and with any remaining fertilizer, just kind of like make a little trail from the main house down the stairs and just throw the bag and get back upstairs instantly.
Very well. You grab the doorknob, and as you pull it open, I'd like you to make a dexterity check for me, please.
That is a Fail. Can I push that?
You can push it.
Oh, I will definitely push that then. That is a extra critical success, 9.
You wrench the door open just long enough to see the stairwell leading down to the basement. You grab the last bag of fertilizer and toss whatever's left down the stairs, and then just before you shut the door, you hear the sound of crashing glass, see something huge and misshapen lurching out of the shadows. You turn around, pull the door shut behind you, and realize you were very lucky.
Buck's gonna look out for Chambers to see what he's doing, see if he's done with his part of the spreading of the fertilizer.
You right there, Buck?
Oh, you don't know. You don't want to know what's down there. I don't want to know what's down there.
You're right, I don't. Let's make quick work of this.
Buck's gonna head out to the greenhouse first and light that.
Yep. You see Chambers emptying the last dregs of fertilizer onto the top of the bed. And then you both step out of the house. How do you want to do this? Chambers takes a shot at lights the fertilizer in the house, or you light the fertilizer in the greenhouse? Or are you going
We'll
to go
need
together?
something to actually burn the fertilizer as an oxygenator. How about books?
Plenty of books
You burn
in the house.
books.
Yeah, books work. And Buck always has matches on him. Smokes like a chimney.
All
So
right.
each
Best,
grab-
best we can do is make an enclosed environment. It's best so it'll burn really quickly.
You each grab a handful of the botany books off the shelf. Chambers dumps his right at the front door of the shack, and you continue on, Buck, down the cobblestone path. You reach the entryway to the greenhouse, drop the books to the floor, and kneel down in front of them. Are you going to do this at the same time, or would you like to do it separately?
Greenhouse first.
Greenhouse
Then
first.
house.
Yep. Alright, so Chambers, you join Buck, and then the two of you kneel over the pile of books. Buck produces a box of matches. He hands you one. You look at each other, count down silently from 3. 3, 2, 1. Then you light the matches. The ends burst into flame. You drop them down onto the pile of books. Instantly you're buffeted by intense heat as whoosh! The flames engulf the paper, blackening it, twisting it. And within seconds, you see a little flame beginning to spread from the pile of books into the greenhouse along the trail of fertilizer.
Well, looks like it's working. We're gonna have to act fast.
Alright, Chambers, Buck, I'd like you to both make either dex checks or survival checks, please.
Maybe with Dex, because that's a 70.
Dex 60, survival is 10. So yes, definitely rolling Dex.
Gonna be re-rolling.
Survival would be to see if you can light a fire faster. Dex is to just see if you can get there and get it done quickly.
I critted on the push.
Yep.
I did a crit?
Yep.
But I passed.
So, Angel, you're just watching from across the road, sitting on the lawn. You see them come running around the corner from the greenhouse, sprinting towards the front door. You see them kneeling over the books, struggling to light matches. You see the flame pop up on the end of the match. Are you doing anything while you watch, or are you just enjoying the show, confident that this is all preordained and nothing they can do?
How long has it been?
It's been about 5 minutes. There's a strange sense of
5
confidence
minutes,
within you, Angel. This is preordained. Nothing they can do will stop this. God's will come to pass.
Looking through the house with everybody, what did I have seen? Things like oil or anything?
Yeah, you saw some cooking oil. You saw various.
As in fuel for a car.
fuel? No, unfortunately. Or you can make a luck check. Let's go.
Luck, okay. It'll be very small.
Not good
but
at this, but-
if it happens, it'll be funny. No, that's a 6.
Yeah.
It's a fail.
No, there was nothing like that. There's books everywhere. And not even the books you would typically find interesting, Angel. The occult stuff he had in his collection was baby stuff. You've read books like that when you were a kid. You're far beyond anything he had. Except for that one
Don't need
book.
to worry at all. Because fertilizer contains ammonium nitrate.
You just smile. Lean back.
And it will explode.
Yeah, lean back. Leaning into the patio as you watch. Chambers and Buck. The matches light. You drop them down onto the pile of books and whoosh! I'd like you both to make luck checks, please.
Can do. Yeah, let's pass.
Yep, we'll see how Chambers goes.
I think I passed.
Oh, yeah, passed. Yep, okay, so you both passed. So,
Yeah.
yeah. You made the pile of books far enough away from the main deposits of fertilizer that you've got enough time to get away. You watch as the flame leaps off the books onto the fertilizer and begins to quickly snake through the house. You've got time, but only a few seconds. I'd like you both to make dodge checks, please, and you may make them with advantage.
Sir.
Alright.
Dodge is 30. I'll pass.
Yeah, that's a pass, but let's see if I can get a better pass with advantage. Yeah, that's a critical success.
Critical success.
There would also be toxic gases,
Yeah.
including nitrogen
There will
oxides and
be.
ammonia
We'll
gas.
get to that in a moment.
Ooh, ammonia.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment.
I'm looking up about ammonium nitrate explosions.
You turn around, get ready to run as you hear the fertilizer begin to hiss. Trixie, you're sitting in your car as Mr. Corbitt parks his own. He lines his car up directly behind yours, and then he reaches over to turn off the ignition. And then... bang! An explosion rocks the street. The ground beneath you trembles, and around the corner you see a fireball rising into the sky behind the houses. Mr. Corbitt seems to know exactly what has happened. His friendly, jovial smile twists into a wicked snarl. He grips his hand on the steering wheel and, without saying anything to you, slams his foot on the pedal. The tires squeal as he swerves around the front of your car, jostling it, leaving scratches across the front of Chambers' patrol car. And then he screams around the corner towards his house. As his engine roars, you hear him shout, "My son! Man Bagari! The flames will not stop you!" Chambers. Go ahead, Trixie. What would you like to do?
Can I shoot out his window and catch his attention?
Yeah, you can try. Would you like
Trixie!
I was originally gonna slam him in the hood and try and push my conscious.
Go ahead,
the
make
innocent book smart skull.
Yeah,
Alright,
go ahead, make a firearms check.
That'll help with the insurance claim.
Firearms, where is that?
I'm sorry, Chambers, this is beyond insurance.
I pushed and got a 2. Hell yeah.
2. Nice. As you see his car round the corner, you fumble for Chambers' gun, and you stand up in your seat, hold it in front of you, hands trembling, and you squeeze the trigger. Bang! The bullet slides through the back window of Corbitt's car. He doesn't seem to notice. He's driving like a man possessed. But that's okay. because you got incredibly lucky. Once the bullet pierces the windscreen, it continues onwards, slamming into Corbitt's right shoulder. You hear him scream in pain as he slumps over. The tires squeal as his car comes to an abrupt stop.
I'm gonna jump in and follow him.
You're gonna jump into his car with him and subdue him?
Am I close enough to run
If you
up
want,
to him?
you could climb out. Oh, you can drive your car. You can ram into
Trixie.
it. Yeah.
I stop Trixie. I run over there and I stop her.
You run over it. Yep. If you could, we'll
I'm
get
gonna
to
wrestle
that in a sec.
with her.
Yep. So Trixie, are you gonna try that?
I'm gonna try running over and try and subdue him while he's in
Yep.
the car.
You immediately throw the door open. It'd be quicker to run to him than to get the key in the ignition. And still holding the gun, you sprint over to the corner into the street where he sits there clutching his shoulder, looking at you with a vision, with an image of pure rage on his face. You see his bottom lip trembling as he begins to mutter words under his breath. And then you raise the gun, ready to fire it into his arm or his leg to subdue him, when you hear footsteps coming from your right. Angel is sprinting across the front lawn of the house neighbouring Eugene's house. She's sprinting towards you, her hands clenched into fists.
Don't worry, I've got him.
You shout. But Trixie leaps off her feet, throwing herself towards you. I would like you, Angel, to please go ahead and make a fighting brawl check for me.
Ooh, 25%, come on. That's a 47. Fail.
47. That's okay. But we'll get Trixie to make one as well, because she might fail worse than you, in which case you'd win.
Oh no, not 14. That's a good pass.
Unless you want to turn the gun on Angel and shoot Angel, you can do that too.
No. I think I'm just gonna try and get out of the way.
You see Angel rushing towards you, and as she leaps towards you, you step back. She wraps her hand around your ankle, and you pull yourself away. In the struggle, you lose grip of the gun. It falls through your fingers and clatters onto the asphalt. Inside the car, behind the wheel, Mr. Corbitt continues muttering, flesh to dust, unravel with the power granted to me by a Forgamon. Unravel her flesh, unravel her flesh. His eyes begin to flicker bright yellow as the light from his burning house illuminates his face. Meanwhile, Chambers and Buck, you stand there on the curb, watching as the conflagration engulfs the greenhouse and Corbitt's shack. You watch as the foliage beyond the glass shrivels, turns black, and disintegrates in the flames as the glass shatters, begins to melt, as the wooden weatherboards of the house crack, snap, and fall off. But it's not over yet. The ground beneath you trembles, and suddenly, from within the flame, through the roaring and crackling of the fire, you hear an inhuman roar. And then the two of you see something huge and misshapen. A constantly shifting black mass emerging from where the basement was. Its inhuman screams getting louder as it pushes through the flames. What do you do?
I mean, what do you do? Run.
Turn and
Yeah,
run.
I was going to say, Buck is going to be marveling at how accidentally incredibly loud and violent and bright that all is. And there is no way that Corbitt down the street hasn't noticed. So he's going to unsling his revolver from his shoulder and take a couple of pot shots as they start running the opposite direction to go meet up with Trixie.
Yep. Okay, so that means you'll be doing 2 actions, which means you roll both with disadvantage. So I'll first get you both to roll an athletics or a dex check for me, whichever one.
I'll go with dex. That's just a regular pass. 38.
Pass with a push.
Pass with a push. Okay. Buck, you can now go ahead and make a firearms check with disadvantage.
No problems. Alright. First one is 71. That's exactly a pass.
Ooh, nice. Hopefully this will...
And... that's also a pass, 61.
Yeah. So
Lovely.
Chambers turns, sprints back across the road. You follow him. When you reach halfway through the street, you turn, swivel around, point your gun at the oncoming black mass and fire off a few rounds. Bang! 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 Hitting it. Although you don't see that. Go ahead and roll damage for me. That's 1d8 plus 1d4 for your 347. 357.
Let's see how to do that. I don't think I have a D8, actually.
A d10, sorry. d10 plus d4.
Oh, D10. Yeah, I've definitely got one of those. So 1D10, that is a 3. And D4 is 4, so that's 7 plus 2, that's 9 damage.
9 damage. Bang! 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 You continue firing. And then, the two of you are buffeted by a wave of heat as something huge, something incomprehensible, something angry emerges from the raging inferno that is Mr. Corbitt's house. It is the child, ill-fated child. It pushes through the flames and shuffles out into the street, illuminated by the flickering light. The creature's body looks like a huge, dense mucus with the consistency of an overcooked pudding. An interior skeleton can be seen poking through the body from time to time, while 3 great vents, closed by wrinkly lips, rhythmically aspirate the monster with puffing, wheezing sounds. 10 human legs, all children's, though of various colours and sizes, rim the lower part of the body, providing it with locomotion, while the 15 chubby little arms encircling the upper side of its body writhe about, grasping at nothing. The thing is featureless except for a wet, circular mouth located on its underside that gurgles and coos softly in a way that unsettlingly resembles the sounds that would be made by a human baby. As it lumbers out onto the roads, the creature frequently stops to squat, then scour the floor with wet sucking noises, searching for food, leaving deposits of thick, pale green mucus in puddles every time it does. I'd like the two of you, Chambers and Buck, to make sanity checks, please.
That's reasonable, I think.
Pass.
That is a fail.
That is a fail. So for a pass, that is 1d3, and for a fail, that is 1d10.
Ow.
Well, I guess I'll be rolling a D10.
Oh, I hit 3.
3.
What's that fucking good?
Oh my god, that's a 9. My sanity is going down.
Oh, you just went mad.
Oh, 9. Okay, Buck, it is time for you to make an intelligence check as the fear wells up within you to see if you comprehend what you are seeing and realize that it is in fact real.
50-50 chance. Let's see how it goes. No, that's fine. That's a 62.
Okay, you are not
So I seem to not
temporarily
comprehend.
insane, But for a moment, you're seized with terror, and you see all of the arms and legs on this creature's body extend, reaching out to grab you. You close your eyes and throw yourself to the ground to dodge. But when you look back, they've returned to their normal size, flailing, kicking, and punching the air as the flames sear this creature's flesh, burn it away, and it desperately shuffles towards the two of you, determined to take at least one of you down with it. Trixie.
At this point,
go ahead.
I think we just keep running.
Yeah, just keep running. Alright, we crossed over to Trixie. Trixie, Angel has tried to grapple you. She's failed, but you've dropped the gun. And behind the window, Corbitt is smiling an evil smile, his eyes flickering as he mutters under his breath, casting a spell.
Angel, what are you doing?
You've got to listen to me, dear. The fire will not stop that which lives beneath. The Avatar is free. The gap will be bridged. It is all inevitable. You may as well give up and live.
Behold!
And then I take the gun. And I fucking throw it.
Yep, you just reach forwards.
Just
Trixie, are you
yeet it.
going to try to race her to the gun?
What am I going to do? I didn't think of this far ahead. No, I am going to try and trip her up.
Alright, so I would like Angel to do a dex check while Trixie does a strength check.
14, which would be mid-success or whatever.
Yep.
Because my dex is 40. Half would be 20.
Yeah, so that's a hard.
45 or 50, that's a
Success,
pass.
whatever.
And how much did you pass with Lynx?
45 out of 50.
Okay, so that's a hard 45 out of 50. Yeah, it's only a regular pass. So as you see Angel dashing towards the gun, you grab hold of her, trying to pull her down. She kicks back, delivering a swift kick to your stomach. You take 1 point of damage and fall to the ground, winded, as she reaches the gun, picks it up, and tosses it down a nearby storm drain.
Trixie.
Mr.
Do you want to know what I truly saw with the spirits?
Can't imagine it's anything good.
Oh, but it is, my love. You see, this world is rejoining itself. Is that a dream?
Behold! Shouts Mr. Corbitt, his eyes flickering, his face mad. Man Bagari, the sun has awakened. The time is at hand. He raises both of his hands, facing his palms to the sky, and he says, "Take me, Aforgamon, your most faithful servant. I do this for you. Unravel my flesh." And then he turns, looks you in the eye, Angel, and he smiles as his lips begin to curl, as the skin around his mouth begins to fold away, detaching from his skull. As the skin across his whole body roils, twists, and tears, and his muscles begin to explode, spraying the interior of the car with blood. Wincing, gritting his teeth through the pain, he shouts, "I go to God!" And then his body gives one last great tremor, and he combusts. Angel, Trixie, you may make dodge or jump checks, please.
Dodge. Off my dex. Alright, I'm gonna go with dodge.
Push.
That's a 14, so that's a hard pass.
14.
I'm going to spend 1 luck, and that's going to be a pass.
Yep. Okay.
No,
Mr. Corbitt's...
no, it wouldn't be. It would be just normal pass.
Yeah, normal pass. Yeah, normal pass.
like,
Corbitt's body combusts. His skin and flesh bursts into flame, and a wave of force is expelled from him. The engine block in the front of the car explodes, and the car begins to shake. Plumes of smoke hiss out from under the hood, and then Angel, Trixie, you look at each other one last time, and then you turn and jump, throwing yourselves face first into the nearby lawn as the Model T explodes into flame. You hit the ground, buffeted by smoke, heat, and dirt, expelled from the ground from the force of the explosion. But somehow you're alive, your ears ringing in the aftermath of the explosion. Chambers, Buck, the son, the child, Man Bagari continues lurching towards you. He's taking damage every round due to the flames, but he's still got a lot of fight in him. The various appendages punching, kicking, while his mouth scours the ground for any morsel of food, anything to bring relief to his pain. What would you like to do?
I'm looking around myself for makeshift weapons, touchy things I can throw.
Yeah, you don't have a gun. Go ahead, make a luck check for me, Chambers.
Yep. It's a 4, so yeah, that definitely
4.
passed.
Backing away, you frantically look from left and right, and you see a plank of wood. The end of it snapped off, leaving a jagged spike that was flung out of Corbitt's house during the explosion.
That'll do.
Scramble over, pick it up, hold it in front of you in your one arm, and wait. Buck, what are you doing?
How far away is Trixie and the Model T?
You hear the explosion.
Sorry, the patrol car.
Yeah. Oh, the patrol car. You don't know where the patrol car is, but bang! You hear the explosion of the Model T. Turn, look to your left, and see Trixie and Angel lying in the lawn about 20 meters away.
I'm going to be running over to them and asking where the car is and taking the keys.
Yep. So as you turn to run, you run straight in front of the creature, and it senses your presence. It inhales excitedly, flailing its limbs in your direction. I would like you, if you'd like to shoot it, to make a firearms check, or if you'd like to dodge it, to make a dodge check.
I'm gonna go with firearms and shoot it. It's just my handgun.
Yep.
Better luck. Let's find out how that goes. That is a 1. That is the most successful I can be.
Yeah. So, you see you see one of the baby arms swinging through the air towards you. Raise your gun and fire. Bang! Your bullet hits it with such force that the hand detaches from the arm and is flung away into the flames behind the creature. The creature lets out an inhuman scream, that is tinged with the frustrated cooing of a human baby. Go ahead and roll damage. 1d10 plus 1d4.
Okay. 1d10 is... that's a maximum, so it's 9.
Yep.
1d10 plus 1d4. That's a 2, so that's 11 plus 2, that's
11.
13.
13, and that is doubled for 26 damage on a critical hit.
Oh, wow, okay.
The creature
You
shudders.
get that, baby.
The creature shudders. It screams. You hear the inhuman cry.
Oh, I hate it.
As it clenches its fists. And then it shakes away the pain, continues lurching forwards. You're already meters away, barreling down the street towards Angel and Trixie, leaving it to advance on the only person left in front of it, Chambers. Are you ready,
Better run,
Chambers?
buddy.
Ready as I'll ever be. Swinging Wildly is the name of the game.
You clutch the wood in front of you, backing away as much as you can. You nearly trip over the curb and fall backwards onto the grass. The creature lurches towards you, flames still searing away patches of skin, revealing the disjointed, nonsensical skeleton underneath. Its mouth leaks viscous green goo as it advances towards you. So, do you want to try to dodge, or just wildly swing and hope you can fight it off?
Yeah, no, James is fucking just. He's swinging. He's going for the stands.
All right, go ahead. Make a fighting brawl check, please.
Oh, that's 93. I'm gonna push that.
Yes, you can push it.
Oh, okay. I missed by 3, so I'm gonna spend luck on that.
Spend luck. Good idea. Bringing it just down to a pass.
Just to a pass, yeah.
One of the baby feet kicks out, and he's going to roll with his 50% chance of hitting you. And he has to get better than just a pass. That is 16. That is a hard pass. You swing the piece of wood in front of you. The baby kicks out, knocks it away. You nearly drop it, but manage to hang on to it, and then thwack! One of the fists collides with the side of your face, delivering a nasty haymaker. Let me look up his damage. That is 1d3 plus 2d6. So first is the 1d3. That is 2 plus 2d6. That is 13 damage altogether.
Oh, I had 5 health.
You had 5 health, but you don't have a major wound.
Somehow, yeah.
Unfortunately,
it's not open.
Unfortunately, what is your max HP?
Oh god, it's doing the thing again. What are the things that add to it?
Just delete the 5, and then take your strength, remove it, and type it back in.
Right, yeah. It's still doing the thing.
Sorry,
what's the equation?
Alright, I'll do it. What's your strength?
40.
40. What's your size?
50.
What's your con?
50.
50. Okay. Your max HP is 10. So you've taken over your max HP in a single hit, which means, unfortunately, for Chambers, it is over. Chambers...
Well, shit.
You're screaming, swinging the wood, trying to fight this thing off. And at this point, there's only one thing in your mind: to stop it from getting to anyone else. You bring the wood down on the baby's foot, smashing it. The foot bends in a sickening, unnatural direction as the creature lurches backwards for just a moment in pain. Seeing your chance, you rush forwards with half a piece of wood left, raise it, and try to stick it right in the creature's mouth. You didn't see the other hand coming from the right. You turn around just in time to see a barrage of fists and feet heading in your direction. What is the last thing you say or do, Chambers?
Buck, you're seeing this, yeah?
I would assume so. I'd be sprinting and looking behind me to make sure it's not following me.
Yeah,
so,
no,
yeah.
There's no way you could be saved. You're dead. I just want to know how you go out.
Chambers looks over to Buck, and he has sort of a moment of clarity, and he yells to him, "Fuck him up for me!"
Buck, looking over your shoulder, seeing Chambers there, you know he's not going to make it. He had a good try. He dealt some damage, but there's no way he can get out of this. He raises his hand. Raises his hand. A greeting, a show of solidarity. A goodbye. What do you do, Buck?
Buck is gonna wave back as he sprints away. Don't worry, we'll get him.
And then, snap! The fist collides with Chambers' head, hitting it on his right cheek. His neck instantly snaps, and his head jerks in a 90-degree angle directly to the left. Instantly dead, he falls to the ground, and the creature gorges itself. It opens the maw on its underside that is its mouth, revealing its sharp teeth. The green, viscous goo begins to pour out in torrents as it inhales excitedly. And then it pulls its giant mass on top of Chambers' body and begins to swallow. Buck, go ahead, make a sanity check for me, please.
My god, that's a lot to say.
Oh, it's sad.
That is a fail.
That's a fail.
Oh, it's sad too.
It's a sanity
Yeah, it's a
loss
fail.
of 1d6.
1d6. Please be kind to me. What? Oh, it was kind too. That's alright.
You're stunned for just a moment, frozen, rooted to the spot. You watch as one of Chambers' shoes disappears into the maw, the last piece of him that you can see. And then the monster, realizing that eating has done nothing, realizing that the flames still sear its flesh, roars, cries in anger. It turns, sees you, and decides on a new target. Trixie, Angel, you lie side by side on the lawn, catching your breath after having the wind knocked out of you by the exploding Model T. You can see, just meters away, Buck standing in the middle of the street as something huge, something indescribable slowly lurches towards him. What do either of you do?
I want to try and psychologically manipulate Trixie into not doing anything.
Okay.
And I'm like, Trixie, listen to me, love. That thing there is going to kill you if you even go anywhere near it. If you want to live, fucking run.
Trixie, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna spring back at her. I'm gonna kill us all anyway. You wanted this madness. Come on and face it. I'm gonna try and not get talked into this.
Okay, so I would like Angel to go ahead and make a persuade or a psychoanalysis check or a psychology check, either of the three.
I'm gonna psychology.
And I would like Trixie to do either a power check or a psychology check of her own.
That is 11. That would be a hard pass.
Hard pass.
Jesus. Push it. 21, that is a normal pass for
Normal
power.
pass. Trixie, you're pretty sure that thing just ate Chambers, and you'll be next. But you have to help Buck. You look over at Angel, you shake your head, and you say, if I'm gonna die helping someone. And then you climb to your feet. You may take an action but Angel's words hang on your mind. And as you see how huge this thing is, it towers over Chambers, makes him look like a little wooden doll in comparison. You feel your heart beginning to beat. You feel the fear rising up. So anything you do will be at disadvantage.
Oh boy. I'm gonna... Buck's in the car now.
Buck's not in the car yet. He's still in the middle of the street. He's running towards you.
And I'll be closer to the car.
You are closer to the car.
I'm gonna jump into the car and pick up Buck on the way.
Yep. You grab Angel by her arm, hoist her up to her feet, and drag her along with you to Chambers' car parked meters away. You scramble into the front seat, kick your high heels on the ignition, and the tyres squeal as you negotiate past the flaming Model T into the street, driving straight towards this thing. And now, you get your first look at it. You see its great gaping maw, the hundreds of limbs attached to its misshapen body. And I would like Angel and Trixie to please make sand checks.
So well I'm doing these tonight. 13. Whew.
That is a 90. I failed.
Here we go.
Yeah, alright. So, Trixie, you lose 1d3. Angel, you lose 1d10.
Oh, that's 4.
4, okay.
Yeah, 31.
Angel, your eyes light up as you gaze upon the thing. You hold out your hands and you shout, "The time has come!" Your family's lineage, everything you've been through, it's led to this. Trixie slams her foot down on the pedal, giving the engine all it's got, while Buck continues to run towards them. Buck, you see flashlights on your periphery. You hear the squeal of tyres, and you see Trixie hunched over the steering wheel of Chambers' car, her eyes narrow, her face screwed up in determination. You just have to get to her, you just have to meet her halfway. The creature continues to roar, scream, and cry as it lurches towards you.
I would like to do something.
What would you like to do, Angel?
I slip off my ring.
You slip off your ring.
And I throw it at Trixie.
As Trixie slams down on the pedal, you grab the black wood ring, slide it off your index finger, and toss it into Trixie's lap. Buck, go ahead and make a dex or an athletics check for me, please. Not athletics, that doesn't exist in this game. Make a dex or a dodge check.
I'm gonna go with Dex. That's a little bit easier to hit. That is a hard success.
Hard success. The creature reaches for you with one of its arms. It rolls a pass. You duck as the fist swings through the air above your head, and then you continue sprinting towards the car. Trixie. Here's where things get tricky. First, I'd like you to make a drive auto check for me, or a strength check if you'd rather not make a drive auto.
Oh, 15. Oh, that's better. 46. That's pass on strength.
You grab the wheel, slam down on the pedal with all your might. Come on! Come on! The engine roars. You're drawing closer and closer, your heart beating with terror as you see Buck running towards you, fleeing from this huge, flaming creature from your worst nightmare. And then, just as you're about to reach him, you feel an overwhelming sense of dread. You look down into your lap. The blackwood ring lies on the hem of your dress, the opal set into it beginning to glow darker and darker. Wisps of black smoke are starting to emerge from the edges of the gem.
And I jump out of the car.
Angel turns, still laughing. The time has come! Kicks open the passenger side door, throws herself out of the car, hitting the asphalt, taking 2 points of damage and rolling to a stop, gasping with exhaustion. The tires squeal. The passenger door is open, and Buck leaps in. And as you leap in, Buck, you see a ring in Trixie's lap. The ring is starting to rise off her dress. The metal is shaking, shivering, plumes of smoke starting to extend like tendrils from the single black opal set into the metal. And there's a sense of dread growing stronger and stronger and stronger.
Shit. And Trixie's gonna have a bit of a panic and then look Buck in the eyes. Quick. I'm gonna stop. You jump out. I'll sort the ring and I'll sort that thing over there. I don't trust Angel.
Yeah, I don't trust her neither. Change of plans. You're getting out, I'm getting in.
Yep.
And he kind of motions to her to get out. Yep, so Buck's gonna hop over into the driver's seat and
As Angel slides out.
he's going to attempt to drive the car directly at the monster and also attempt to jump out
Just
if
in
he
time.
can, possibly. Just in time.
You toss
The
the
monster's
ring.
on fire. That's full of fuel.
Yeah. You toss the
Yeah,
ring
exactly
onto
what I
the
was thinking.
upholstery. It sits there rattling, the tendrils of smoke growing longer and longer. There's something, a faint shape, starting to make itself visible in the haze. You wait until Trixie is clear, then you slam your foot on the pedal, wrap your hands around the wheel, and look at this creature. This is it. This is it! Make a drive auto check for me, please.
Can do. That's a fail. I will try again. That is definitely a pass, 12.
The engine splutters, nearly dies. There's a bang from under the hood as you push the car further than it can go. The great creature ahead of you sees you coming. It stops flailing and it opens its great maw, waiting, ready to accept the next morsel of food. At this point, the flames have shredded away most of the flesh. It's nothing more than a jumble of charred meat and bones, still somehow desperately clinging to life. Just as you hear the inhuman scream in your ears, you turn, kick open the door, and throw yourself onto the road. Go ahead and make a jump check for me.
Let's see. That is also a pass, 35.
Also a pass. You hit the ground, oof, slamming your shoulder into the asphalt. You take a single point of damage. You're able to quickly recover. You roll around, pull yourself into a seating position, and as you watch, the patrol car drives onwards, vroom, until crash! It collides with the front of the creature, nearly lifting the creature off the ground. The car comes to a dead halt, and the creature lurches forwards, wrapping its maw around the twisted metal of the bonnet. Covered in blood, grime, and sweat, you raise your gun. It's trembling in your hands. Make a firearms check for me to end this.
That is a pass. 70.
Pass. As you steady the gun in your hands, you aim at the gas tank on the underside of the vehicle, and just as the creature begins to pull it into its maw, what do you say?
God damn it! I'm never gonna get to drive Chambers' car again.
Bang! The bullet strikes the gas tank, pierces it, gas begins to leak out. It immediately mixes with the flames. The flames engulf the car and the creature as it pulls the burning hunk of metal into its mouth. And then the car begins to shake. You hear a loud hissing. Tss. You turn, bury your face in your hands as boom! It explodes. Just changing the music before I read the outcome. You hear a great scream. The screams of a terrified baby, warping, changing into something inhuman, something indescribable. The screams get louder and louder, so loud that even as you clasp your hands to your eardrums, you can still hear them. The sound seems to want to rent your soul in two. One by one, you see the lights turn on in all the houses in the street as people start to poke their heads out through the door, through the windows to see what is happening. Screams and gasps and shouts fill the cacophony. And then it all stops. You hear a thump. Something lands next to you, falling from the sky. You open your eyes. There's a baby's hand, its fingers still grabbing at the air, twitching on the asphalt next to you. Twitches a few more times, then the fingers stop moving. It's over. Behind you, Trixie lies on the asphalt, breathing in exhaustion, while Angel sits on the nearby curb, her arms folded, her eyes glimmering in the flickering light of the flames. A wicked smile is on her face.
Buck's gonna wander over to the both of them. Inevitable, my ass.
You've only closened the gap. He is free. I am free.
Buck.
The djinn
The djinn
is released.
free. Buck.
You have failed.
Look over your shoulder. Look at where Angel is staring. And all you can see is a black, misshapen pile rapidly being burnt away by the flames, reduced to nothing more than a pile of ash and scorch marks on the ground. Seems like Angel's idea of hastening the inevitable is just that, a mad idea.
Buck's gonna wander over to her. I wanted to do this for a long time, and punch her squarely in the face.
I take out my knife and I jab him in the fucking heart.
It's fine.
Okay, try. Okay. We're gonna make a dex off.
Alright,
First,
next up.
Buck.
Let's go.
First Buck.
Let's see. That is a 7.
7. Buck. Oh, you got a 7, Buck. That's right.
Yeah, I got a 7.
Yeah. All right, Angel.
Oh, Jesus, I thought you were
56,
single.
but I am going to push it.
Yep. Go ahead.
As a 29,
29.
which is a success, a normal.
Reach into the folds of your dress, Angel. Pull out your little silver dagger as you see Buck clench his fist. And then you smile. And you shall join them on the other side. You jab out with the dagger. Buck easily sees it coming. He steps out of the way. And then he clenches his fist, takes a step up onto the curb, and delivers a punch to the side of your head. Angel's knocked out cold instantly, her unconscious body falling back into the grass.
Trixie's gonna run up and her hands real quick. She's unconscious.
Yeah, Buck's gonna dust off his hands and kind of cross them with a grumpy look on his face. God damn, Chambers didn't know to die for this nonsense.
Did you destroy the ring?
Sure hope so. Went up in a fucking cloud of smoke.
I hope so too. So we'll find out soon enough. I'll explain later. But help me sort this mad woman out.
Yep, seems like it's for the best. Should have trusted my instincts.
So much
I helped
death.
tie her up.
So much death. So much destruction. Reach towards your belt. Detach the spare set of handcuffs that Chambers gave you. Slap them around Angel's hands. And then, as you kneel down, grab one of her shoulders and hoist her up. Link's helping to brace her on the other side. You sigh. So much death. And for what? To postpone the inevitable? Well, if there's a way to stop this, you'll make sure that Chambers didn't die in vain. Find a way to not only delay the inevitable, but to put an end to this. People still watching through the doors and windows of the nearby houses. You escort Angel, half guiding her, half carrying her back to Eugene Earl's rental property. Carry her inside, toss her on the bed in one of the bedrooms, then pull the door shut, locking it. And the two of you look at each other. You see the fear. You see the weariness. You see the sadness written on each other's faces. You hang your heads. From now on, you're on your own. You'll make sure no one else has to die. That concludes this session and this story.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was spicy.
That was The Legacy of Mr. Corbitt, Part 2, Episode 5 of Call of Cthulhu, Edge of Madness. A Call of Cthulhu 7th edition actual play podcast presented by DM Fiat, with me, Dale, as Keeper of Arcane Lore, Ash Gray as Agent Robert Chambers, NCS as Howie Gordon, Toxie as Angel, and Lynx as Trixie. Background music in this podcast was created by Kevin MacLeod and is used with permission.